You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene and Bowie TV Baltimore Ravens recap show. I'm Wole, and I'm joined by my co-host, Bowie TV's Ravens reporter, Carita Parks. What's going on, Carita?
What's up?
How you feeling? How you feeling? You're doing a lot. That's a lot going. You are doing it. How are you feeling though?
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling good. I got a little nap in.
Hmm.
It's not for the weak. People don't see like how on the media side, like we're still in the press box at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning after those
Hmm.
games. And then we're flying out the next day. So yeah.
Yeah, we were. Hey, look, I appreciate you. If anybody ain't going,
Thank
I appreciate you.
you.
I appreciate you. So if y'all didn't know, Korea was definitely she was at Raymond James Stadium covering your Baltimore Ravens. You know what
Yes.
I mean? So big ups to her. But like on Monday night football, the Ravens sent a message to the whole NFL, beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 41-31. Before we get into that game, hey, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, tune in iHeartRadio, and other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Make sure you subscribe to the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel if you're on our YouTube channel. Hit that red subscribe button. Also like this video. Also, this Ravens recap is being streamed on the Bowie TV YouTube channel as well. Hit subscribe to and also like this video over there as well. Don't forget to tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. Hit us up on IG and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Also, join our Urban Sports Scene Facebook group. Search Urban Sports Scene, sports bloggers, sports podcasters, and sports debates. All right, let's get into it. On the road in Tampa, Florida, the
Yes.
Ravens defeated the Buccaneers 41-31. Lamar Jackson was amazing. He threw for 281 yards and five touchdowns. What were your overall thoughts on the game and his performance?
Yeah, Lamar just looks so comfortable out there now. There were times where I feel like people would question like his confidence or his comfort level, but he just seems like he is having a lot of fun. But also, what kind of amazes me about Lamar now, he might need to chill on this, but he really, like, he's out there tackling and blocking and just doing it all.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell, I mean, when someone's like that, first of all, he always says, like, every single week, he
Yeah.
says, I just want to win. I just want to win. But yesterday, he said he's chasing something.
Mm.
So everything is, every game is an important game to him. And, and then he capped it off with his I just want to win.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very interesting the comment he made about I'm chasing something.
What do you think he's talking
So,
about?
huh?
What do you think he's talking about?
Oh, definitely the Super Bowl. But, I feel like he's been a little bit more. I mean, we all know what he wants. We know what the team wants. But I
Yeah.
definitely feel like he's been modest about it. So that was a really interesting statement from him. But Lamar, I mean, he threw for 5 touchdowns.
Crazy.
And they were passing touchdowns. These were
Yeah.
not rushing touchdowns. He
5.
threw for 5 touchdowns and
Mm.
281 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was 17 out of 22 on like attempts versus completions, which is
Mm-hmm.
really good too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Lamar just continues to grow. And I do think that we've seen him be the best passer he's probably been
Mm-hmm.
in his career thus far. Yeah, it's dope to see.
Yeah. Do you like you cover like you've been covering this team now for a couple of years now? Do you feel like his growth as a leader has shown up too as well? Was he the same way last year to you?
That's a good question. He's the same way last year too, but I
Hmm.
do think that you catch him being more vocal.
Yeah.
Like last year, I feel like the players would tell us, like Lamar said this or Lamar, they would kind of let us know like
Yeah.
Lamar's leadership, right?
Hmm.
But I feel like this year you hear him more, and not I'm not on the field obviously, but if I watch some of the Raven shows
Yeah.
after the games and stuff like that, and you just hear him talking more as far as from a leadership perspective. Like
Yeah.
he's always taught, he's always had good relationship with his players. Like just even on the IG live with Marlon Humphrey to just call him out like that on the live
Yeah,
and not
that was
care, you
real.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that
I
was
feel
real.
like that kind of shows the progression in his leadership. And truth be told, I was joking yesterday on Twitter, but ever since Lamar called Marlon Humphrey out, he's been like 3 for 3.
I mean,
So
Marlon,
on his
yeah.
interception.
I mean,
So hey, it worked.
the proof is in the pudding, right? Like,
Yeah.
look how Marlon 2 picks last night. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
saying. Uh, Flat Earth Society 360 said Lamar Jackson always looks comfortable out there until he sees Patrick Mahomes. This is when oh man, look at y'all, man. Look at y'all. This is what I look. Let me jump into this about that. This is the best version of Lamar that we've all got to see. You know what I mean? Like, this is how I look at it. So I'm not into the whole like Patrick Mahomes Lamar thing. Lamar knows who he has to beat. He knows, you know what I'm saying? But in terms of right now, I don't know if you can say that there's any quarterback playing the level of Lamar Jackson. So yeah, Patrick Mahomes is great. Patrick Mahomes, we're looking at the present, isn't playing the greatest football right now. I mean, his team is undefeated, but he's not playing the greatest football. But he's a great quarterback. I love Patrick Mahomes. But if you
Somehow
really,
they limp their way along.
yeah, they just win. They just
Every
win.
year they seem to somehow just limp their way along.
Yeah, but and when we're talking about Lamar, like his play has been amazing. Like you
Yeah.
can't say you can't throw the football. You can't say you can't throw from the pocket. Like he diced up that defense. You know what I mean? And he's been consistent. We talked about this on the pregame that like this stretch of games where they're scoring 40, 30, 40, 30. So like arguably this like Lamar's probably playing football at the highest level he's ever played. And I'm even going in terms of his time in Louisville when he was amazing. Right now, everything seems easy. He just seems like he's on that. It's like he's on that Steph. I'm use basketball because I'm a basketball dude as well. He's on that Steph, LeBron,
Well, that's what
Durant.
Kyle Hamilton said yesterday. Kyle
Yeah,
Hamilton said he's 101, and he was like, he literally, I quote, said he's LeBron out there.
yeah. I'm serious. Like for real. That's how it looks right now. And like he's playing. It looks like he's playing in slow motion, and everybody's trying to catch up. Like
He
everything's slow
did
to him.
say the game, I don't know, was it last week or the week before? But he definitely said the game has slowed down for him a lot.
You can see it. And it goes back to what you're saying. He just looks comfortable. I feel like when you are comfortable, the game tends to slow down for you. So,
Yeah.
but speaking of not just Lamar, speak about some of the other players. Like who were some of the individuals that kind of like you talk, Bateman had a big game. We talked about Bateman in our pregame in terms of our fantasy picks, and you chose Bateman to be the guy to show out, and he showed out. Talk about his play.
He did 121 yards and 1 touchdown, 4 receptions, 4 targets, 4 receptions. So he was perfect last night.
Yeah.
But it was also a career high for him as far as yards and touchdowns.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, like you said, in our pregame show, how the more he continues to build that rapport and chemistry with Lamar, the more confident he's going to get. And like we see that. We've been seeing that week by week because he's on 3 touchdowns on the season already, which is more than he even had the whole season last year.
Yeah.
And we're only a few games in at this point, 7 games in.
Yeah.
So there's so much more potential for Rashad Bateman. And I do gotta respect Eric DeCosta, the Ravens GM. And I say that because he could have easily been like, you know what, this isn't gonna work out. He's been injured his entire time here. But he extended him, gave him a 3-year contract and took a chance. And as a GM, that is risky, right? Because if it doesn't work out, then it's like you made a poor decision. But in this case, it looks like he was right. And he did say in the offseason, I think it's only fair to give him a chance to show what we know he can do. And it's paying off. Him and Zay Flowers are starting to be like a good 1-2 tandem, and they have a really great relationship. So, Yeah, and after the game, I did ask Bate about, if he felt like he's able to show he knows what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Because in our one-on-ones, he said, I know what I can do. I know I can make big plays if the opportunities come my way. And he basically said he wasn't going to talk too much about it. He wasn't going to speak too much about it. But he feels like he's shown what he can do. And he knows what he can do. So I think right now he's just in that mindset of, I'm going to show you and I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm respond to that too as well because I have a lot to say about Bateman. Paul said, thank you for beating Tampa, much appreciated. Paul's a Commanders fan. He said, Lamar is playing the game from the shoulders, from the shoulders up at a high level. He is, definitely is, man. He's really thinking the game out, and you can see it. Hey, no, Swirl Zone said, "Come on, flat Earth. Lamar is balling out. Plus, he has a black." I'm kidding. No comment, man. I got you. Are the Ravens developing this is a question for you. Are the Ravens developing the best tight end combination in the league? What are your thoughts? Do you feel like the Ravens are developing the best tight end combination? You got Andrews, you got obviously Likely, and you even the other guy, the other tight end you
Charlie
speak of,
Kohler,
Cole,
you can't forget about him because they've been using him. I actually talked to Mark Andrews. I've talked to Mark Andrews about this, and he said he feels like the Ravens have one of the best tight end like groups in the league.
Yeah.
Todd Monken has said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in the off season. Well, my conversation with Mark Andrews was more recent. That was a couple weeks ago. But in the off season, like that was what Todd Monken was saying about the tight end group. Like they really believe that they have the best tight end group in the league. And yeah, I think we're seeing that, right? Because it's just like the wide receivers. It's a pick your poison tight end group.
Yeah.
Any of them can kill you. Like we're seeing that Charlie Kohler comes in on and gets some big yardage. And they kind of use him, like I've been saying, they use him in situations where people aren't paying attention to him because there's so many other people that they have to pay attention to. And then Mark Andrews, what Mark Andrews can do from his years as a Raven. Yeah. And now we're seeing Isaiah Likely. Last year we saw him come into his own, and that's continuing this year. And him and Lamar have great chemistry as well. So yeah, I mean, I can't think of at this moment when we're talking about like a tight end tandem.
Like we're talking, y'all talk about three
in this moment. Yeah, I mean, in this league right now that has three tight ends that can kill you.
Yeah, I think they got the best tight end group in football right now because not just you got individuals who have two, but the Ravens put out three right now. And it's just in terms of what they can do out of that their formations with like three tight ends, it's crazy, and all of them can do dangerous work. I think the Ravens have a really scary unit and a scary team, and it makes them like they don't have to go like 3 wide receiver sets or things of that sort. They can stick with like 2 receiver sets and 2 tight ends and be good and can kill you that way. And which in today's NFL is rare because today's NFL they like to spread you out, and then you can have that big formation with with Derrick Henry. There's so much they can do out of that formation. What makes him dangerous. But I'm gonna go back to I do want to talk about Rashad Bateman.
Okay.
If you look at his stats, this dude he's on pace to almost get 1,000 yards receiving. To Carita's point, it shows so much faith for the GM to have that much confidence in Bateman and say, we're gonna give you this opportunity to do your thing. And I'm on the side of saying like, yeah, I definitely like what they're doing on the offensive side of football. I'm happy for Bateman because I always thought he was super talented. He's a super talented receiver. To me, his issues were injuries and whatnot. And it's not, everybody wants everything to be instantaneous, right? Like as soon as you come into the league, you should be able to tear it up. But that kid had situations where it kind of hurt him. Injuries hurt him. It hurt his NFL growth.
And I'm sorry.
No. You cool. And
I was just gonna say it. I don't think people realize how much it takes to come back from injuries. And I literally think last season he spent the entire season trying to get back to himself.
Facts.
Because that season before is when he had the foot injury. And a foot injury, I mean, as a wide receiver, a foot injury is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Go
No,
ahead.
you cool. Actually, Nas Rosone said, Patrick Ricard looked shocked when Lamar threw him that perfect pass that he dropped. He was like, "Me." He did. Yeah, it was right. It was right there, right in the middle, right down the middle. Yeah, he dropped it. I know he was
that would have
surprised.
been a play for real if he would have caught it.
Nah, that was on the money. There was no excuse for him to drop that pass.
No.
But it is what it is. Everybody, look, no one's perfect. Ricard has had a great early season so far, man. He's very important to what we see out of Derrick Henry and folks. So he's played very, very well. But yeah, I'm just like you said, I'm happy for the dude because now it gives the Ravens we can all stop to talk obviously before when Devontae Adams came out and said he wanted, well, when he was the reports where he wanted to leave the Raiders, he's now with the Jets. Some folks were linking him to the Ravens, and I was like, wait a minute, you got Zay's playing good football, and excuse me, and I'm losing, Bateman's playing good football. Why do you don't need? I mean, you don't really need Adams. I know Adams is great. Don't get me wrong, Adams is great, but with just having these two young dudes grow with Lamar, they're still young. They're all growing as a unit right now. Like the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and last year we saw with Odell Beckham Jr., he was definitely there for insurance because Bateman was coming off of that injury, and I don't think anyone really knew how that would pan out for him. But with OBJ being in the mix, it definitely impacted the targets that Rashad Bateman got. Right. So just think about if you have a Devontae Adams come in, but also the Ravens are rolling right now, and exactly. I don't really think that it's a smart idea to add someone into the offensive mix at this point when it seems like they're starting to figure it out.
No, I totally agree. You mentioned my man Andrews. This is my guy. I picked him too on the fantasy.
Yes, and that was a great pick as well.
I know. I told you, teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah, I told you.
Teamwork. I told you. I told you. But I questioned it initially, like, dang, what's going on with Andrews? But now he's in his bag. He had a touchdown last week, 2 this week. So now, what's changed? Did he talk about it? Has anything changed, or is just that this is his time? Like the flow of the football is going his way.
Yeah, no one said anything has changed. I just think it's like you said, it's his time. The flow of the football is going his way. And when he wasn't getting as many targets as people are used to him getting, those targets that he was getting, it seemed like, he was having a hard time hauling them in. So it feels like, he had to maybe shake something off. I don't know. But it is kind of, in my opinion, just the flow of the game. And also Lamar Jackson getting more comfortable because he has so many weapons this year. And it's actually working out. His receivers are catching balls. The other tight ends are catching balls. So he doesn't have to rely on Mark Andrews as much as he had in years past. But that's still his guy. Lamar going to get Mark Andrews the ball if he can. So, yeah. But I talked to Patrick Ricard last night about Mark Andrews because he actually broke the franchise record for receiving touchdowns yesterday with his 2 touchdowns. So I talked to Patrick Ricard about that, and Ricard mentioned, he had a lot of accolades for Mark Andrews, but he was like, when he wasn't getting the targets that he usually gets, he was out there blocking his butt off. And he didn't care about whether or not he got the targets. He just wanted to help the team win. And so I think that that's what people don't realize is, first of all, we got to give the Ravens offensive players some props because they are good blockers.
Yeah.
And Mark Andrews was out there making some key blocks. He has some key blocks, I think, for Derrick Henry. And, so I just think that it's a situation where people were not used to seeing Mark Andrews in that kind of role. And I could completely understand it and I get it. But now he seems to be in the mix.
Yeah. Like you said, I mean, everybody, it goes back to what I was talking about, Adams. Like when
Mhm.
you have a player like Adams, you're going to feel like you have to force feed him because he's just
Yeah,
demonstrating he's one of those
exactly.
dudes. Now, when you have guys who are just, and he's not selfish. I don't want to call Devontae selfish. I know a lot of people want to call him a diva. He's
But
not,
he wants the ball. Like if you
but
watch,
when you're number one, when you're a top 3 wide receiver, top 5, that's just, it comes with the territory.
yeah,
Like
he
you
wants
just
the
feel
ball.
like you got to give him the football. Like you just got to give him the football. You know what I mean?
And
So
that was the issue in with the Raiders. I mean, if you watch if anybody who's watched the
yeah.
Received documentary on
Mhm.
Netflix, like he just wants the ball. And
Yeah.
right, that would be an issue still with the
Yeah.
Ravens
Yeah.
because they talk about it all the time. They talk about how there's so many weapons that it's hard for any one guy to
Yeah.
be like the guy.
Yeah. That's why I agree. I think when like if for instance, if you had OBJ in his prime, not the version that the Ravens got, but the guy that was healthy, knees all great, you would have to force feed him. It's just it is what it is. When you reach a certain level of gravitas as a receiver, there's an expectation to get the ball all the time. Like if you had Justin Jefferson, it would be the same thing. Like and as great as Justin Jefferson is, you would like he would have to get the ball all the time, and that may not work for what the Ravens are trying to do. So I totally agree. I think what the players that the Ravens have is a good mesh because you got young dudes who can grow together. So it's not like I gotta get Zay Flowers the ball all the time. Like I gotta get Bateman now. He had like over 100+ yards in this game. Now next game I gotta give him the ball. Like I don't have to do anything. Like if you look at his targets in the past game, I don't even think Zay got a target or in terms of as a pass catcher. I know he had
Oh
a run
yeah,
in
they
front,
had one target yesterday
one target, like one target. You know what I mean? So
after
I'm
having
like,
a breakout game last week. You know
yeah,
what
you
I
know
mean?
what I mean? Like, so it's just like it just tells you to your point that these dudes are selfless, right? They're all selfless. So that's where I'm at with like I think the Ravens have a very good unit, and I feel like that type of unit is conducive to trying to win a championship because when you're selfless, that's a scary thing when you're playing team sports.
Yeah.
So we talked about Lamar, the numbers he put up. But man, Derrick Henry had 69 yards on 15 carries and averaged 11.3 yards a carry. Freaking ridiculous.
And he
Um,
wasn't, yes, and those 15 carries were like, I mean, he had them throughout the game, but I feel like the bulk of them came in that third quarter,
yeah,
third and fourth quarter.
yeah, that's when they break the wheel.
Yeah.
They break your wheel. Yeah. Lamar gets us to promised land. Derrick, let him go home. Let him go home.
Right. Yes.
Take him home. So, you've covered this team throughout. I mean, you covered this team. Is this team for in your eyes? And you watch a lot of football, so it's not like you just don't watch this. You just cover this team. You watch
Say
football.
that. Say
Yeah,
that.
I got you. I got you. I got you. Like, do you feel like this team has like the best offense in the NFL?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just love when things come to fruition. Because we've been hearing about like all the weapons and like now we're seeing it. Because
Mm-hmm.
last year, Todd Monken was a new OC and they did have to get used to his system.
Mm-hmm.
And it came together as the season went on. I mean, they made it to AFC Championship game, but now they're even better in his system. So, but I say yes because I'm just trying to think. Right now, I just cannot think of a team that has as many weapons as this Ravens offense has, and
Yeah.
they're utilizing every single weapon that they have. Because
Yeah.
even yesterday, Patrick Ricard dropped that ball, but
Yeah.
that just goes to show you, Todd Monken's going to get everybody in the mix.
Yeah.
And I'm just loving the comfort level. It seems like even Todd Monken now has, because he's just really been like, he been calling some plays and I really like that. But yeah, because even if I think about um the Chiefs,
Don't got
I
weapons.
mean they definitely have offensive weapons,
Not
but
like the
not
Ravens.
like the Ravens, right?
They have.
And in that situation, I mean, when you got Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, we've seen this over
Yeah.
the years. He can have a mediocre offense, but
He can.
because he's Patrick Mahomes, it works. But do I think they have the best offense in the league? No.
It's wild. The only team I think that has like talent wise that matches up with the Ravens talent
Okay.
would be shoot. The Eagles, they do got talent like the Ravens. They got AJ Brown, Deontay Smith,
They
Rivera.
they
They
got
got
on now.
Saquon and running back. The
Mhm.
only difference is they don't got that. I mean, real. They got a good tight end in Goddard. Goddard's a good tight end. Only difference they don't have Lamar. They got Jalen Hurts. No knocks on Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts ain't Lamar. It's not. He's not even on the level. Not even close to the level. And it's no shade on Jalen because I think Jalen has done enough. And yeah, I like Lou. Detroit got talent too. Detroit has talent.
Yeah, Detroit has talent.
Detroit got talent. I don't. I would still say that Um, Detroit has talent. They do. They do have talent. Lou, that's a good point. Detroit has talent. I want to take that away. They got two receivers. St. Brown. Yeah. Tight end.
But
Two
do
running
they
backs.
have as many? I mean, but do they have as many weapons as?
They got two. They got Williams, Jamo Williams, who's a great deep threat. He's similar to Bateman. Probably in terms of talent wise, probably better than Bateman talent wise.
Okay.
St. Brown is really good. I think Zay got more time, but St. Brown is probably like the better receiver at the moment. But I feel like none of them nobody's better than Derrick Henry at running backs. I'm not going to say better than Derrick Henry, but they got two running backs though. That's what they have two really good running backs. Quarterback, I mean Lamar
But
push
so do
you
the
over.
Ravens though. Justice Hill, we cannot.
Yeah, I know. Justice Hill's good too. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Two
okay.
backs. But then you got the Ravens. But see again, like Lamar changes the game. Like that's who changes the game. Like if Pat Mahomes had the weapons, then I would be like, yeah, Pat Mahomes, yeah, definitely. I would go. I'd probably go Carol. I'll check the Chiefs to a certain extent if he had the weapons, but he's not even playing well, so I can't even say that. But Lamar is the person who's changing the game for the team. You know what I mean? DH. Detroit has talent, but the Ravens are dynamic at every position. I agree with that. See, that's pretty much. But I feel like the Ravens are dynamic in this. Like the one position is what it changes the game thoroughly. And DH is gonna be my host. He's gonna be the guest host.
Okay. Okay.
That's who did. He gonna be the guest co-host for the pregame because folks ain't gonna be able to do the pregame because I gotta be religious. I gotta do some church stuff. So I know if you heard me, if you people
Very
hear me, I
respectful.
can be religious too. I know people think I'm wild, but I'm not that wild.
Multifaceted.
Exactly, I'm not that wild. Flat Earth Society 360 says, Sister Carita, I've already put my bet in on the Browns upset. Jameis Winston is hungry to prove himself. Dang, you go. Okay, you all right. Like we're not doing predictions, but dang, that's how you feel. I feel you,
I'm
bro.
not gonna do predictions.
We ain't doing that pregame. You and DA's doing that and doing that pregame. We ain't giving them. We don't give them that now. We ain't giving them that now. They ain't ready for that. Lou said Detroit can run the ball very well. They can. So can the, but they're not. They don't run like King Henry. I know that much. They run the ball well though.
No.
They do run the ball well. But no, I think the Ravens have the best. Let me say this. I think the Ravens have the best offense. I don't think it's. I think you look at what they're doing right now. 40, 30, 40. Like since they had that rough patch, they could have scored 40 something against the Cowboys. They just put their foot off the neck. They could have scored. They scored against Buffalo. They did it against Cincinnati. They did it against Washington. They did it again, and then they did it against Tampa, who are on the road. So to me, they are the best offense going right now, and they're in their bag. They're in their groove right now.
I think that's what we got. Also, that's a very good point that you just made. Like we have to give this team a lot of credit for how they're able to play on the road.
Yes,
it is hard to beat a team at their home, and not shambles.
Pre-game about to be a breeze. Thank you, DH. Appreciate you. But yeah, go ahead, Carita.
No, but I was just saying, yeah, we have to give them credit how they've been able to play on the road because I mean, you know, the struggles that they've had in the fourth quarter has just been like a consistent thing with the defense.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, and we've seen the defense be like that at home too, right? Mm-hmm. But overall, I feel like they've been very dominant on the road.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do that. So I think we, to your point, got to give them credit for that too.
Luke said, Baltimore and Detroit can very easily be who we see in this Super Bowl. Yeah, we could, but you can see Washington too, Luke. So go ahead, dog. I know you're a Cowboys fan. But yeah, honestly, Detroit, all jokes aside, Detroit is super strong. Like they look the best team. I'm on the other side of the NFC. If Ravens are the best team in the AFC right now, Detroit would probably be their counterpart in the NFC. So yeah, I can see that though. But still, don't be shortchanging my Commanders though. I see what you did right there. But yeah, but Derrick Henry, he just changes the game for this offense. You know, he really does. He changes the game. So we talked a lot about some positive stuff. And this was a good, but as a champion, you got to kind of assess everything, even the negatives. And I know it's hard to find a negative in a game on prime time when you show out. But for you, what were some of the negatives, that you saw Monday night?
I still worry about this defense because the way the Ravens offense is playing, this really is a team, in my opinion. They keep playing like that, can make it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But then I think about, if they make it to the Super Bowl, if that defense doesn't improve, that could be an issue.
Yes.
And so, and I would hate to see that because, they're just clicking on all cylinders offensively. I think right now Lamar has one of the best offenses he's had in a very long time. And so, for me, like the defense not playing, because the talent is there.
Yeah.
This is not a question of talent. The talent is there. But they, for whatever reason, they can't get on the same page. And I don't know if this is because this is Zach Orr's first year and maybe it's a lot. Like, I don't know the answer to that question. Like I said before, if I knew, then they would know. So, I don't have that answer. But, especially in the opening drive or so, allowing Tampa Bay to just march down the field the way that they did. And granted, we talked about Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Where's out the Chris Godwin too? Folks.
Yeah, I know that was tough. That was tough.
Yeah.
And I think I saw him yesterday on crutches, but I think I saw him still talking to the media. So
it's the second time he tore it. I know that. The second time he tore it.
Yeah. So, I knew it was bad because I couldn't see it, but Kyle Hamilton seemed to be a little affected when it happened.
Okay, wow.
So I was like, oh, it must be bad. And then after that, I started to see it play out, and you could kind of tell it was. But that's a sad thing. Real talk. Yeah. We don't know how long Mike Evans is going to be out with that hamstring injury. And then
let me keep this a buck with you. Because remember we did the pregame. I didn't know it was that bad of a hamstring. That dude shouldn't even play.
That's what it looks like. He looked like he was in so much pain. And from the press box, he was where he was. I couldn't see him. He was kind of behind something. I could see Brandon Stevens because they kind of went down together.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see Mike Evans. But then when I saw the replay, he was in so much pain.
Even the touchdown catch, he was in pain. That's when I knew.
Really?
You could tell they try to help him up a little bit because he was so wide open, right? When he went down and caught the ball and he tried to get back up, you could see that he wasn't 110%. Like you could say he was 100%. Yeah. So then when it happened again, I was like, y'all, whoever decided for him to play, they did a bad job. He shouldn't have played.
Yeah, so that's gonna probably be a long-term issue with him, and then losing Chris Godwin. That's rough in one game. Like that's rough.
Yeah,
but so pivoting back to the Ravens defense. So, for me, if it wasn't for Marlon Humphrey getting those 2 interceptions, I'm just kind of like, which way would this game have gone? Because the Ravens offense was definitely doing what they needed to do once they got out that snapped out of it and got out that 10-0 hole. They were rolling. They had 34.
Man, they went 20 straight. They went 20 straight after being like, it was 10 to what was.
I think it was 34 actually.
Yeah, 34. Yeah, I know it was like it was 7-10. So it was 7-10. Tampa, right? It was 10-0. No, that's right. It's more than that. You're right, 34. But I know they went 20 straight after they were down 10-0.
Yeah, it was 34 unanswered points because I had to make sure I was right.
No, you're right. I remember. I'm saying I was watching. I was watching the game. I changed the channel for a hot second. Then I came back to it. That was like 20-10 already. Damn, 20-10. What happened?
Right. But credit to the defense, I guess, in that situation. But that was still mostly Marlon Humphrey because he got those 2 interceptions that and the Ravens capitalized off of both of those and got points. So yeah, they gotta. I didn't feel like and most of the time my issue is not with the defensive line, but I didn't think the defensive line got as much pressure as I would have liked to see on Baker. The way Todd Bowles was dialing up the blitz is the way I would have liked to see the Ravens treat Baker. But they kind of got, I want to say maybe third, fourth quarter, they dialed it up a bit. But the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the fourth quarter scored, I think, was it one touchdown and a field goal? I can't remember, but whatever. Yeah. They were back in. They were within 10 points, and that should have never happened. That should have never happened.
Yeah, I feel like once you get 40, you're gonna relax anyway. I know people don't want to. The game is pretty much over, so I feel like the defense probably. They were chilling for a little bit.
That defense don't need to chill at all.
I'm with you. I just felt like that's what it seemed like to me. I was like, all right, because like you all, because think about it. Like Mike Evans is gone. You lost Godwin later on in the game. Like
they're less than. Well, they didn't lose Godwin though. Like by that point,
it was an end, like towards the end though, right?
Well, yeah. So at that point, they had already come within 10. So
he's right here talking that time.
When they lost Godwin, they were trying to get another touchdown and possibly do another onside kick.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like the defense, I get it. I do understand it. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that the Ravens defense should relax because this has happened in the fourth quarter. We saw it with the Cowboys. But legit, the fact that the defense wasn't stopping very well.
Yeah, that's true though.
The Buccaneers, they really could have scored again.
Yeah.
And the onside kick, Ravens haven't been doing good recovery.
That's crazy to me. Like, and especially today, in today's era of the onside kick, you got to announce that you're doing the onside kick.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a surprise, it's not a shocker. It's like, I don't know how that even like this. They happened against the Cowboys too. So I'm like, how can you not like? Yeah, so, that was wild to me.
The Buccaneers, I can understand. People are upset, like, well, why'd you have Chris Godwin in there, blah, blah, blah. But the way the Ravens defense was playing, the Buccaneers really probably felt like they could get another touchdown.
Yeah, he's a hands guy. Yeah, you want him out there. That's just, I mean, the game dictated for him to be there. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. And people want to like complain. People want to question Todd Bowles. But even in the press box, we were like, they could score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is like the defense is a shaky thing. Darian said Baltimore's hitting its stride offensively, but that defense got some question marks.
It does.
Yeah, it's wild. I think, like I said before, like I praise Marlon Humphreys. I feel like he's been a constant. I told I like Stevens. I do. I don't know what's wrong with this.
Williams has been getting some heat though.
Who?
Marcus Williams has been getting some heat.
Yeah, he's actually yeah.
The Ravens did activate Arthur Maulet off of injured reserve. So if he's actually, because sometimes, like I said, even like with injuries, it can take some time to get your flow back.
Yeah,
and he was really effective in training camps, and they paid him for a reason. So.
Yeah, it's definitely that secondary is a problem. My man Owe had a sack, so I'm boosted about that. Well, I saw a sack. My man always hustles. Nigerian dude, so cool, such a cool guy. Non-swirl zones, unnecessary penalties will cost the Ravens wins down the road.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
They killed, and most of those penalties were offensive penalties.
Yeah,
actually. I mean, the defense may have had. I remember, was there a roughing the passer? Yeah, there was like a roughing the passer on defense, but that's the only one I recall for the defense. The rest of them were offensive penalties, and they were bad. Like they were in the worst situations, and I think they had 8 or 9 penalties. Where's my little stat sheet? 8 or 9 penalties for like. I got my little stat sheet here.
I got you.
I want to get numbers correct.
There you go. Appreciate that, man.
They had 9 penalties for 85 yards.
Oh, dang.
See? Right. That's a lot. it was bad. There were a lot of holding calls.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of holding calls. So hey, what's up, DJ? What it do?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, obviously you want to be structured out there in the football field. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you're like, you're not having wasteful penalties. I mean, you don't want to be penalized on anything, but you want to make sure at least you have discipline.
Yeah,
Especially as a champion contender, 'cause again, in playoff time, that's gonna hurt you because you're playing against the best of the
right.
best. So you
Exactly.
gotta have to clean that all up. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's definitely gonna be the only thing to me, that and y'all know right now, because I'm a believer of the moment. I don't like to predict the future. Like,
Mhm.
as of now, like, it's gonna be hard to beat the Ravens the way they're playing football. And the only way they can lose football games at the moment is if they beat themselves. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? At the moment. My man DH said the league is 2-18 for onside kicks. Ravens are the only team that's given up the two. That's what I'm saying. Like,
It's
nowadays, the
been,
onside kicks ain't easy. Like, they ain't easy to recover. And the
but
Ravens,
you see most teams recover them.
yes, I'm saying, like, for real, it's wild. Like, I don't. That's a weird thing. Like, for real. Like,
And they
I'm like, dang.
figure that out because people gonna be
And John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. Like, that's his thing. Special teams is his thing, which is crazy. Insane, man. Insane. So I'm like, it's what he. That's wild. Even for, I'm like, come on, bro. This is what you do. So I didn't ask you this, but I feel like he is. So I'm like, and I think you feel the same way. But I'm gonna ask the listeners too, and when they hear they have to say. And somebody said it earlier. You feel Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback right now going?
the way he's playing. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, Lamar is a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and I just think, like I said earlier, it's not just his quarterbacking. Like I said, I think he needs to slow down on this. But he makes additional sacrifices like blocking, and then what I think was hilarious is that well, it was a turnover, so I get it.
Yeah.
It was I want to say it may have been off of Zay Flowers' hands, and
Yeah.
McCullum
Mm.
caught it.
Yeah.
And this is before it got called back, and McCullum dragged people to the end zone, and it was Isaiah Likely and Lamar. I was like, that was Lamar. I was like, oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't see a lot of quarterbacks getting in there and doing and getting involved in the dirty side of
Yeah.
things. They kind of fall back and let their blockers do what they do. But he's in there in every capacity, from quarterbacking to the blocking, and he's going to tackle. I mean, he did that, I want to say, a week or two ago. It was a turnover though, but Lamar still was kind of like, not on my watch. He was not going to let whomever, I can't remember who it was, but he wasn't going to let them score.
Yeah. I want to put this out there, my man. Nas Rose on. So Patrick Mahomes 6-0, huh? Now you're on record. That doesn't always dictate if you're the best team in football. For instance, I know he's Patrick Mahomes, but let's look at how he's playing so far this season. Pull up the stats. Lamar's defense hasn't even been an ideal defense. I make the argument that Kansas City defense right now is better. Well, Kansas City defense is better than the Ravens defense as a whole.
And that's the crazy part, is that's just stands out to me too about how good the Ravens offense is, because the defense has done a lot to where this team could lose games.
Agreed. That's
The
what I'm saying.
offense has been able to continuously put up points, and that's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I know where you come from. Like, they ain't throwing no shade against Mahomes. I'm saying if you look at how it looks right now, if Mahomes stats, Mahomes ain't lighting anything up, but he's winning football games. So I'm not knocking him for that. He is winning football games, but he also it has a defense because it's a team game to help them, stay in games. While Lamar, is now in shootouts. You know what I'm saying? So if Lamar's not putting up 40, this team ain't winning. Like, Pat Mahomes doesn't have to put up 40 to win. Like, we're seeing it. Like, this team, his defense. So it's more of a team effort in Kansas City compared to and I'm talking about sides of the football. I'm not going to say like players. I think feel like players are stepping up for Lamar too on the offensive side of football. But I'm saying like offensive defense. Lamar got to bring his A game for them to win some football games right now. And if we got to be completely honest, Patrick Mahomes right now doesn't have to play his A game to win football games. If we're going to be completely honest.
Nope.
DH said Lamar is number one, and he has the stats to back it up. I agree. 10 total points away from being undefeated. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I just feel like at the moment, so that's what I'm saying. We gotta live it. We're living in the moment. We're not looking at what's going to happen in December or January or whatever. In the moment, right now. Yeah, I think Lamar is playing the best football.
Yes.
Here we go. I love what we were saying from Lamar. Now Swirl Zone. Why do you think people are criticizing DC or this is his first year, right?
Because people don't have patience. I mean,
yeah.
That's what it boils down to. People don't have patience because, and when I say people, I'm just, because the criticism I feel like is coming from the outside, not necessarily from the inside.
Oh, it's definitely from the outside. It's definitely from the
outside. Fans want to win. They want their team to be clicking on all cylinders. And right now the defense isn't. And truth be told, I was not covering the team during the Mike McDonald years, aside from last year.
Yeah.
But when he first started, I wasn't covering the team. But I heard that he had his struggles too when he first started. Now,
I believe he did too for a little bit.
I don't know if they look like this or not, but I heard that he did have struggles, and I've heard that pretty consistently. And so he really, I think last year might have been his best year as their defensive coordinator. So it does take time, but I think that when you have like an offense that's so good, and a defense that is struggling, I can see why fans are frustrated and they want to blame Zach Orr. But you do have to consider the fact that this is his first year. And I don't know who, Zach Orr said that he was with it, but whoever the person was that made the decision to bring on someone to help advise him, I mean, I think they're trying to do what they can to support his growth and development as a defensive coordinator.
I agree. I mean, look, they're still playing good football. I mean, the team as a whole is playing good football. So, I mean, when it's I mean, right now we know it could be an issue. Hopefully, they can kind of work some things out so they can kind of minimize it. They don't have to be world beaters, but just to a point where to just play solid enough defense. And I'm gonna say solid enough defense on the back end. I'm not gonna say in the front seven because I feel like Roquan, the defensive line, they're doing their job. And the linebackers as a whole are doing their job. It's the back end. So I just feel like once they get that situated, then they'll be a better team as a whole. But I feel like that secondary it's been the issue. It hasn't really been the front seven. It's been that been that secondary.
I would agree with that.
Dujay said Lamar definitely needs his defense to finish games against the great teams. They would have been beat again last night. I think this defense will come around. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bad football being played in the NFL though. So
it's kind of funny because I mean the defense, like you said, they don't have to be world beaters. They just need to tighten it. They just need to tighten up a little bit, and they can't let a team score every time they get the ball or get points every time they get the ball. And so, because that will be an issue later on, as when everybody's slugging it out, that will definitely be an issue. But if they could tighten it up a little bit, I've seen Patrick Mahomes. I can't remember which Super Bowl. It might have been more than one Super Bowl. His defense was not that good.
In the beginning,
right.
He wasn't,
but the offense was able to always do enough. So I mean, we've seen teams with okay defenses win the Super Bowl, but it doesn't make me comfortable.
It's rare. Like your defense doesn't have to be like ideally you want your defense to be good. Like your defense, it makes it easier to be good and when you can win a Super Bowl. Like good defense typically win the Super Bowl.
And that's what's throwing me off is like they have good pieces, so they just need to figure it out.
Yeah, because even Pat, I would say like I feel like his defense got hot when he won his first Super Bowl. Like that's been a theme. Like his defense will get hot, and that's when he won the Super Bowl. So it's just like it just depends. But we're gonna have to end the show. We did enough talking about this. This was a great game. We talked about the Ravens. They got the Browns on Sunday. We'll have our pregame up for that. So y'all make sure y'all tune in the pregame. Be at noon. I'm gonna have my man DH be the special guest co-host. He can represent for us. I'm gonna be doing some Nigerian church stuff. So I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be in church all day, but it's cool though. I'm gonna enjoy it. It's all about the Lord, you know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? I got some sins to kind of like ask God to forgive. But all jokes aside though, but yeah. So we're still gonna be on there. We'll start our pregame. It's gonna be at noon. So make sure y'all chime in, come in, tune into us, man. It's gonna be a vibe, man. All like pregame shows. If I'm not a part of it, if I represent, it's gonna be a vibe. I'm not gonna lie to y'all again. So make sure y'all come in. Again, DH from the DND podcast will be hosting the show for me. It'll be streaming live on YouTube, IG, and our Facebook accounts. Also, this will be streaming on the Bowie TV YouTube channel as well. Also, it'll be streaming on DH's YouTube channel. So DND podcast. So make sure y'all search that out. It's gonna be streaming. It's streaming everywhere. So you already know what time it is. It's gonna be we hitting all platforms, man. Simulcast and stuff, man. It's amazing. I love technology. You know what I'm saying? Like a person like me can simulcast stuff. It's amazing, man. Who would have thunk it? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. All right, man. Also, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and all other podcast platforms. Just search the Urban Sports Scene. Also, follow us on X at Urban Sports Scene, IG, and TikTok at Urban Sports Scene, and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Again, folks, if you're on our YouTube channel right now for the first time, hit that red subscribe button right now and like this video. Is the link in the description? Not yet, but I can send it to you. I should put the link in the description. No, I should do that. Next time I'll do that. I'll put I don't go ahead. I say I don't do it. You know what? Subscribe. I'll send you you know what? I'll do that now. Look, how about this? I'll make it easy for you. I'll put it in the chat, and then that way you can find the page. You can see. Here you go. Yeah, I'll do it for you right now, bro. While I'm stalling time. Sometime. Actually, I'm not gonna stall that much time. I'm not gonna stall that much time because I'm getting tired myself. Carita, you tired? Because I'm getting kind of tired. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I mean, you
because I'm getting kind of tired. There you go.
I'm like, what are we stalling for?
I know he wants my man. You can't see it. My man, not swerves on. He wants the link. So I want to make sure I give him the link. So yeah. But anyway, now I'm not stalling anymore. Now we're good. All right, we're good. All right. Also, make sure you subscribe to our. I said subscribe. You know what, folks? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. All right. Anyway, you've been listening to the Urban Sports Scene by Aegis. You dig? Deuces. Hey, we are out.